Alright, let me prep my 15 minutes. We are going to talk today about the Civil Guard aircraft. Let me find... There it is. This is the plane that started it all. Not in lore, I mean that this is the plane that inspired me to make all this. I went weird and it turned out looking pretty nice. This is, the T-12 Gentleman, I believe is the name I have for it. It is a old school biplane with some tricks up its sleeve. This is kind of not a relic aircraft, it's a very, very good aircraft. It is kind of overshadowed a little bit by things like the Sparrow, which are just super advanced aircraft. But to the civilian and the private, and even the small island, to those people, this is top of the line aircraft. It is a twin engine, I shouldn't say twin engine, but push-pull engine. Engine in the rear, engine in the front. It has 4 high rate of fire guns in the front. Don't know the caliber. They're just your kind of classic Maxim looking machine guns. It is a bit front heavy, but the rear engine kind of helps balance it out. It is a rather light, it's a rather heavy frame, but a decent amount of it's kind of exposed. These are its fuel tanks for easy quick access and getting all your fuel lost in combat. Similar to the Sparrow, even though this is not Red Faction, it has rear air brakes that are also cooling. So the engine would sit here. Do I have that modeled? No, I don't. I don't have the engine modeled. The engine would sit here, and then in case if it needs to have an emergency cooling, these would pop open and let all the warm air out, also slowing down the aircraft. This is the aircraft that started it all for me. Pylons, most civil islands that use civil guards build, they don't really have a ton of room to build full-on air bases, and they also typically don't run carriers because they're expensive, and so they have lakes as their air bases, and so most of their aircraft, as we're going to see with the second one, are pylons, though these props come a little too far down for these pylons. This is top of the line aircraft. The public owns some of these. Civil Guard owns some of these. The Civil Guard is island protection. I'm pulling up the map while I think and talk. Even islands that are under protection of like the Blue Faction run Civil Guards. They're mostly for anti-pirate. They're there to defend against pirates. But they... Here, we can use this map. They can, in heavy quotations, face off against a... a more militaristic threat, but that is also a little contested. So this is the map of the islands. A lot of these islands in here use civil guards of different equipment. So these islands here, except for those ones are a little special, and that one, but these islands here are centerline islands. They are pretty far out from the main. They're technically blue. They're allied with the Blue Faction. Remember, all names are temporary because I haven't thought of good names for these factions. And I'm using color codes at the moment, so that'll help. They're allied with this faction, but they are far away. That is a long distance, especially for a Zeppelin. And so they need their own defense, which typically comes into a civil air guard and then a civil ground unit. And this is one of the main planes they use because it's reliable, it's proven, and outside of your top two nations, really, this is the best you can get. These hooks here are storage hooks for carrier use. They will be stored kind of in almost a shelf. They'll put them on a ceiling or in some kind of like shelf unit built up to store all these aircraft off the deck. On carrier-based carriers that run these planes, which there are a few, the landing is hard because they land on those skids and they land hard on those skids. But typically they're just pretty much pushed out of the side of the aircraft and then allowed to take off because they don't need a ton of airspeed. And they can get the airspeed they need super fast with these two engines. Weapons that these can carry, mostly just small rockets. Not really small rockets, small bombs. Nothing super advanced. I've thought about putting in a small air torpedo here. I think if anything, there'll be a bomb lobber there. But just a fighter. This main goal of this plane is to dogfight. And this one, if I can get the material preview to pop up, belongs to, come on, the Ravens. No, that's not their name. I thought it was Red Ravens. It's not. What is this faction's name? Maybe it was Sky Ravens. I don't know. This is a professional air guard, and that is their insignia. And this is their color scheme, the red on the white. There might be a triplane model later on. I don't know. Okay, let me see how much time I've got. So let's move on to the other Civil Air Guard plane. What did I call this thing? Dragonfly. This is the Dragonfly. This is a bomber, and she is a heavy girl. This has 4 engines basically stacked on top of each other, almost built into each other. That it's almost one engine that runs 2 different props. Once again, a biplane design. And this is their anti-ship grill. And for scale, you can see the gentleman next to it. So it's a big girl. The only thing I don't have is pylons on this. This model is still work in progress. I was trying to figure around these air torpedoes. It's proven a little bit challenging. This ship this plane can deal some damage to enemy ships. With these 2 air torpedoes, they are slow compared to like the Red's air torpedo. They are pretty accurate, and at least with we're going to refer to them as the Sky Ravens, because I think that's what their faction name actually was, or their unit name actually was. They're good shots with these. They will pretty much everything down to here is warhead. They will obliterate a ship that these things are likely to fight. You put one of these against a dreadnought, it's going to take a few of them. You put these up against any armored red ship, it's going to take a few of them. They do carry 2 of them though, which helps a lot because most aircraft only carry 1, except for some of these super heavy bombers, which this would fall under. The front defensive machine gun are 2 Maxims, same ones. I'm going to call them Maxims until I've got a name for them. Same ones that would be on the gentleman, just slightly modified so that the gunner can use them. He is in a pretty tight enclosure, and it does limit the pilot's view. He has got a direct radio with the pilot and is trained to assist the pilot in flying the plane. There'd be a pilot and there'd be a weapons officer. Weapons officer is just in charge of assisting the pilot in aiming and firing the air torpedoes. And then there's the real defensive guns. This is not a plane you want to get on the tail of. These are two motorized Gatling guns. 37 I think I have in lore. You can kind of see the gears work with each other. I tried to put some thought into these. Not insane like Vulcan minigun rate of fire, but pretty high rate of fire, and they will knock a plane out of the sky pretty quickly. They can even do some damage to some light airships, like super light airships. This is not a plane you want to get on the tail off of. And this is also, once it's dropped these two massive, incredibly heavy air torpedoes, a pretty fast bomber. It's not going to outrun a fighter, but the common tactic that this particular air unit uses is it'll drop its two air torpedoes, roll and dive, basically going straight down for a second before pulling up, putting a little bit of G-stress on the crew and the plane, but it's got plenty of supports to keep it going. And this maneuver puts it pretty much right up to speed, and so it can run away really quickly. It also puts this gun facing the enemy. You can see the rear wings here. Nothing. Actually, it is kind of fancy. I need to incorporate this rear system into landing gear. This was going to be something. I didn't incorporate it into like the rear system, like rear wings and such, but I left it because it kind of looked neat. But this is the beefy boy. There's a few things I need to work out with this. I think I kind of want to keep the external fuel tanks somewhere on this because it'll kind of bring the look. These two planes are supposed to be built by the same company. And so I kind of want to figure out a place I can put the external fuel tanks. I need to get the landing skis figured out. And then just more detail on the model. All these models are pretty low detail, low poly at the moment. Paint scheme's pretty much how I kind of want it. And then just figuring out its ordnance. This is a bomber. It needs bombs. I haven't really figured out how bombs are going to work in lore yet in the universe. Because like most of the combat is taking place in the sky, not on land. And I'm only just now really starting to get land combat figured out, how it's fought and such. But the Gentleman and the Dragonfly, the Civil Air Guard, kind of the role they play. And then when I get a chance, I will. I'm gonna give you a little teaser. I'll show off. Come on, this one takes a little bit to load. I'll show off this guy, but that is for another time. If I didn't just open the same file twice, but we'll go over that guy. So I pretty much kept that entire thing under 15 minutes. Fantastic. This might end to 15 minutes. Give me feedback. Let me know what you think. Ideas. What you want to see. I've got a Twitter. That's where I try to post most of my work when I can. I'm a busy guy. I don't get as much time to model as I'd like. But I try to upload everything there, and then I'm trying to do more videos at a later point. So let me know. If you like what you see, comment, like, share it, let me know. If there's any particular details or anything you guys want to know, I will happily make videos on it. I gotta know. And I'll develop on what I can. I'm just trying to figure out some different animation styles and modeling styles to make more cinematic stuff. But I am running on weaker hardware, so that doesn't help. Anyways, bye.